All right, when setting up the high Y, we will attach 4 of the rope to this pole here, okay? In order to attach the rope, we will need a figure 8 with a loop on the end and a stopper knot. In order to do that, we create our stopper knot first. Once the stopper knot is created, we can now create a figure 8 through the remaining loop. We want to dress the knot to make sure that it's nice and make sure that we don't have too much distance between the loop and the knot. All right, at which point we will attach a steel carabiner to each point of each of the 4 ropes. Before ascending, a couple of things to think about. When you are clipped in, you will have all 4 ropes attached to you. You do not want to attach the ropes to your waist belt of the harness. That compromises the safety of your harness. So where you're going to want to clip is right here in between the hip belt and the safety and your leg loops. Okay, so you will notice it's right here. So at any time it is not loosening or adjusting my harness. Now, we are going to be using an ascender as our protection when ascending any poles out here. So the way that the ascender works is anytime you climb, this piece here rotates up, and as you climb, slides up the cable. If at any time you fall, it will lock like so. From there, we hook our steel carabiner, not aluminum, our steel carabiner into this loop here. I bring it down, I attach this to my belay loop like so. I check to make sure this is ready, and I start to ascend up. You will notice that my ropes are on each end of the pole. Right, so when you're up here, this is what it should look like. Things that you want to look for are your blue ropes are on top, your red ropes are on the bottom. All carabiner gates are facing out, and we always do a double check to make sure that every carabiner gate is locked. Okay, after setting up our other pole, we now have to climb these to attach the ropes to the eye bolts on top, so that way we can create a belay system. Some of the things that you want to keep in mind is that the blue rope is on top over here, the red rope on the bottom. That needs to be the same on this pole and the pole behind me. Also, you want to make sure that there's no twists in the rope. In order to do that, I recommend tying a knot, hooking it to a carabiner, having excess rope to work with at the top without having to drop it, and also being hands-free. I clip that in. So what I do is I have tail, I do a basic overhand knot, put on my aluminum carabiner, attach here, again trying to make sure that I don't get any twists in the rope as I ascend. In addition, when you are pulling the rope through at the top, you want to make sure that the ropes stay on the ground at all times as much as possible, because we do attach the climber to those ropes. If we pull all the way up, we then have to rescue a rope. You want to make sure while you're climbing that your ropes stay on the outside of the cables at the top. So it's easier to hook my rope to the outside of the pole and ascend that way. All right, once up at pole 2, we are going to pay attention to which side of the eye bolt we are putting the rope in. We always want to start with the end of the rope at the inside of the activity, feeding the rope, the end of the rope, through to the outside of the activity, pulling this end of the rope all the way down to the ground, all the while leaving some of the rope on the ground. All right, I've now returned from attaching the ropes to the top, and it's important to make sure that I attach the ropes properly to the bottom. First thing I want to check is to make sure that the rope is on the outside of the cables up top. From there, I will go ahead and I attach the ropes. I take my blue rope, and what I want to make sure that I do is go through the same as up at the top. I go from the inside of the activity to the outside of the activity. I tie some kind of a locker knot on the outside, and I feed this rope through to where it is taut. I then do the same thing for my red rope, from the inside of the activity to the outside of the activity, some type of locker knot, and then I feed this rope all the way through like so. This allows for the belayers to belay to the outside of the activity rather than towards the inside of the activity. All right, so we are now going to get to the point where we attach our climber to the rope. We have our ropes attached to pole 1, we have our ropes attached to pole 2. We are now making sure that this is low enough. Now we attach our climbers. What do? We have our oval quick links, and from there we want to make sure that we screw down so we don't screw up, all the while attaching our sewn slings to these oval links. Let's go ahead and start with the blue, since it's technically our top rope here. I take my blue sling, I put it inside my screw link. All right, I screw down so I don't screw up. I attach this here, and I screw this down to attach. I do that same thing for my red sewn sling. In which case my slings are attached, but in order to actually attach them to our climber, we have to use aluminum carabiners, all right, to clip in. We then do the same thing for our blue. And now we can attach our climbers to our ropes. All right, any participant going through our high Y is required to wear a full body harness, in which case we attach the harness in the same point as we do on our quantum leap, which is the back loops of the harness. Both carabiners need to go into both loops of the harness.